Hello, my name is Abe, and today, let's take a look at Ignited Steel. Mech Tactics. I don't know if that's a description of the game or the tagline or the secondary title, Mech Tactics 2 Electric Boogaloo, but I got a code for this game just the other day. We played a couple of recent games on Let's Look At, and now we're gonna take a look at something completely new that I have no idea what it is. However, from the description of this game, as I reduce the volume way more, because that music is starting to get kind of loud, from the description of this game, if I had to describe it, it looks like Into the Breach. It looks like another game that has the same style of gameplay as Into the Breach, which is a game that I absolutely love. Into the Breach, of course, by Subset Games, the developers of FTL Faster Than Light. I enjoyed Into the Breach. It's a nice little puzzle game. And so another game that has the same style of mechanics, sort of like a tactics game, I'm down for. Let's take a look at Ignited Breach, shall we? Incoming transmission. Lieutenant, report. I'm not gonna read the name. Soryu, Egret. Is that your first name or is that a title? Assault pilot. Ma'am, it's worse than we thought. Our own machines are turning against us. Oh no, someone needs to stop Dravis. Not just combat units, but absolutely everything, anything built in recent years has gone haywire. That's why you don't put all your money in Amazon. So this is what they meant, ma'am. We've just received a transmission. It is the singularity of mechanical, robots now turning against their creators. The Humanixy Corporation has declared martial law. They've used an AI called Pharos to turn our own weapons against us. Why would one corporation rule the world's robotics? I don't know. How are we supposed to fight against them? We are doomed. There's no way to know if this will work, but we have to try. They probably have like old mechs on standby in the warehouse, covered in dust. Man, I do have allergies. I would probably not want to be one of these pilots. Put the Omega Series mechs back into action. It seems like Ferris can only control the automated machines. The Omega Series are manned units. This could be our only hope. But ma'am, they are literally centuries-old junk heaps. That is precisely why they're our best bet. The decision has been made. This is our last chance. Start Project Ignited Steel. They really came up with a tagline for that very fast, didn't they? How are we gonna stop this? Why don't we start up a new project of old mechs? We'll call it Ignited Steel. Let's play the tutorial. I have a small, tiny idea that I'll be able to understand what's going on, though. Environment condition frozen, minus 50% heat generated. That seems a bit of a mech warrior-esque mechanic. Heat is always a mechanic in those Battletech games. Eliminate all enemies. Enemies eliminated 0 of 2, turn 0 of 21. Place units on the marked tile. We only have one pilot. I can't see what he does. We're gonna place him down. WASD QE zoom in out with the mouse wheel. Understood. Bit of a slow zoom out, but that's okay. So you can't click and drag on the map in order to move things, unfortunately. Player turn. Eliminate all enemies. Select your units to give them orders. Select, deselect. Okay, I understand it. I do wish I could move the mouse by clicking and dragging, though. That's the big thing. Like any game that has like a top-down camera like this, you're going to be able to move the map. Yes, I can move the mouse to the edge of the screen, but because I have this in a windowed mode, it's very imprecise. If I was in full screen, it'd be a little bit easier, as long as the mouse is getting locked. But the mouse is not locked into the window, which is a bit of a problem. Anyways, WASD it is. Select your units to give them orders. I will select you. Once a mech is selected, use the move action to move. Keep in mind that every step increases heat. That makes sense to a degree, The further you move, the further it's gonna take you in your heat, and maybe heat capacity can control your total movement range or your action points. If it's all in one bar, if an attack adds 20 heat out of 100, you could attack 5 times if you don't move. I kind of like that. Now, we have 120 energy, 0 heat. We can move, attack, or cooldown. Reduces the current heat by half. Oh, you know what? The tutorial just means I can only move here. All of your actions cost action points. At the bottom of the screen, you can see your remaining action points. So we have 100 action points. In your turn plan, which will be executed once you press the execute button at the beginning of turn, your AP will be reset, but not heat. Right click is a cancel. And we'll attack. Our attack goes 2 tiles. I do wish I could just mouse over things to get like a tutorial pop up about what's going on there. Oh, you know what? There's our weapons. So we have a blaster shotgun, fires a short-ranged blast in a cone, hitting multiple targets. I wonder what happens if we hit a target adjacent. Maybe we'll hit with all 3 blaster shots, I don't know. Or propulsion gauntlet, long-range jump that pushes and damages units that are adjacent to the landing point. It's a jump. Most of your support equipment modules have special uses. They can give you a tactical advantage beyond being pure sources of damage. This one allows you to jump. Understood. So we could jump over here to hit this unit and deal 350 damage, or we could blast this one for 850. Sure, I will blast you for 850. Assault tank, overheat, receives an immediate burst of damage, current damage multiplier 1.0. I don't know what that means, but I will hit you. And we can attack twice with our action points, because this is 35 action points to use the blaster shotgun. So 2 attacks should kill you, and we'll have 414 out of 1750 heat. I don't know what this little arrow here on the heat bar means. Maybe that's when we like have a chance of melting down. I also don't know what 30 means. Oh, this 30 means that's the action points remaining. But I can't move because this is still the tutorial. Got it. Execute actions. We shot you twice, you're dead. Understood. Sound effects are a little bit loud. Just gonna turn those down a little bit. Okay. So at the beginning of the turn, our heat was reduced. Is that how that works? Environment conditions, less heat generated. I think our heat was reduced because we ended our turn. I don't quite remember. Cooling reduces heat by half, but I think we got a little bit of heat regen automatically. How much, I do not know. Anyways, why don't we just, from this position, do a little bit of an attacking leap. They'll get knocked back, we'll be standing there, then we can move, and then attack with the shotgun. The enemy is gonna die. I don't know if the shotgun does more damage at point blank range, but we'll still be able to see what's happening here. So jump, smack, step, shoot. It does not seem to do more damage up close. Planet Figzingzong. So we did lose some scrap, I don't know, we're just gonna call it scrap, by destroying a building, but we destroyed them. I still wish I could mouse over this stuff to see what it is. Like, what was this? Who am I? Go to bounty, select your reward. We can have a napalm flame launcher. Ejects steel melting plasma in a large cone-shaped area, deals minimum damage, but greatly heats all targets. So we can heat other enemies, and heat is not only a resource for our own mechs, but other mechs as well. Range of 3. We can aim it in the cardinal directions, and it impacts in a cone. Understood. Current damage, heat inflicted, heat to self, AP cost, total weight. Weight determines how much the mech can move every turn. Sure. This is the star map. Here you can modify your equipment by entering the hangar. You can also select the next destination by clicking on planets, asteroids, and space stations. So maybe there's an alternative path, and after the next level, we're gonna have a bit of a choice. Understood. Here's our mech. We can go to the hangar. Primary weapon, support weapon, core. Gotcha. Propulsion gauntlet. We can swap this out for a napalm launcher. Propulsion gauntlet gives us 520 heat to self. Napalm launcher gives us 300 heat to self. I mean, to be honest with you, being able to jump seemed really nice because we could cross distances without having to walk. So I kind of like what we have right now. And then we have a core. which doesn't change the health. If this is 2.0, you deal and receive 2 times the damage. Multiplier for damage dealt and received at maximum heat. So this is not a bad core necessarily. This is okay. You know what? I just noticed that my hard drive is full, but luckily that is not going to interfere with this recording. Fantastic. Although I won't be able to adjust the volume in post, so the volume of the video currently is the volume it's gonna stay at. Okay, fair enough. Okay, total weight, cooling rate. At the start of each turn, the mech loses this percentage of its current heat, 0. Self-heat multiplier, 0. Understood, I guess that's our core. Can't change it. The game really wants us to do this though, but I don't know, I kinda like the jump jets. But you know what, let's change the weapons because that's what the game wants. And then let's go to the next level. Enemies, weird tanks, bounty, I don't know. There's your pause menu. Sector 1, we have 368 scrap. I assume at some point in the future we'll be able to spend it at a shop. And this is our next level. I don't know why the camera moved. There are 4 types of missions. Eliminate, reach extraction, defend, destroy. And you have turn completion timer of 31! All right, that's probably fair enough. I think we're still in the tutorial because it's like, hey, you can only land here. So I will land here. I will start. But this is a hot environment. Our heat is gonna go up a little bit higher than normal. So I'm gonna step here. I'm gonna smack you. We will overheat, but I don't think it's bad at all. Being extra heated just means that you do and receive more damage, which doesn't even seem like a very much of a bad thing, doesn't it? So like, hold on. Move and attack. It still only does 850 damage. So you know what? You might as well attack from here twice and then cool off. The cooling action reduces the current heat by half in exchange for 1/3 of your AP. It's the only way out of the overheated state. We could stay overheated just to see kind of what it's doing. Then we'll move there. I guess walking does use an action point, and the action point is dependent on your weight. So sure, let's move there. These tanks don't really do anything, right? WASD to move. Let's execute the action and see what's going on. Shoot, shoot. As you use your weapons, your heat increases. It will start dealing and receiving more damage as it heats up. After the heat level has exceeded a point, you will overheat. It can be both a good and bad thing depending on the situation. Enemy turn doesn't even seem to do anything. So we do lose heat every turn, it seems. I don't know by how much. There doesn't seem to be an indicator of that. So we will. Deals damage and increases heat at the start of each turn. So we don't want to be on this burning tile at the end of turn. And there's buildings adjacent to us as well. I may have destroyed one of the buildings now that I think about it. I don't know. Burning tiles do damage and raise heat at the start of each turn. These tiles only last for a few turns, after which the fire burns out. So you know what? Why don't we just move here and then cool down and then cool down. And the next turn we'll walk across. So we should be at 190 heat at the next turn. Enemy turn. They have shot me, you son of a gun. I didn't even know you had an attack. You guys have just been like not doing anything ever. It just says overheat. Receives an immediate burst of damage, but I don't know what that means. So we're at 105 heat. I don't know why our heat is going down. I thought you only reduced heat when you were cooling off. Turns remaining 1 on these fire tiles. We took a little bit of damage. I assume we heal between levels. Okay, and then we also have a weird shotgun. right? Rather, napalm launcher, which can hit you. And it will cause you to get maximum heat, because right now you have 0 heat. This will do 450 heat, but because of the environmental conditions, is 50% more. So we can immediately make you heat up and overheat. I'm not entirely certain why we want you to overheat, but we can make you overheat. I can attack twice. Will be overheated, but we should purge some of our heat on the next turn anyways. So sure, let me just end our action here. When an enemy's heat reaches its maximum, they overheat. This not only means that they will receive maximum damage, but also turn its AI haywire and causes a special effect which is different on each enemy. There are many different effects you can cause by overheating enemies, so make sure you exploit them to your advantage. Hover over each enemy to see more information about their overheating effect. Your modular weapons can increase the enemy's heat. The higher the heat, the higher the damage they will receive per attack. Enemies do not do damage to you as they increase. For them, heat is usually just a major disadvantage. I was wondering about that, because for the player, heat means you deal more damage. But for the enemy, I guess maximum heat causes them to take a burst of damage. That's what that ability means. Overheat, receive an immediate burst of damage. What's interesting is that it just doesn't tell you how much extra damage, and it also doesn't tell you what their attack is. You know, this is so far it's playing very much like a Into the Breach or tactic style game, but there's not as much tooltips as I would like. You know, like I can't mouse over my weapons to see what's going on. I can't click on my weapon to immediately switch to the attack mode that has that weapon equipped. I have to click attack here. There could be a lot more like simplification and player assistance happening here. Like I want to see my weapons here without having to click on attack for it, and I want to be able to click on the enemy to see what they're doing or what they could do, because I didn't even realize I had an attack. I didn't understand the UI there. But let's keep moving on. So the enemies have an AI. What? Okay, click, right click, click, right click. I don't understand. Okay, so if I click on myself, red indicates the attack range, blue is the movement range. So red is the attack range of the enemy and blue is the movement range of the enemy. Okay, but I understand it. So when I click on myself and then right click on an enemy, it's not showing their movement range, but this is their attack range. A little glitchy there. Stuff like this could really be a little bit more simplified. Like, again, if you're playing Into the Breach, if you select your unit, it gives you a nice little cheat sheet of this is its movement, this is its attacks, this is its range. I want that on the enemies. I want to be able to mouse over them or just click on them and get a list that says their attack is 4 range, their movement is 7 range. You know, simplify life. Give me the knowledge that I need to succeed. Anyways, we're gonna walk. We can't cool down. Populated area. -1% health repair after combat if destroyed. Also, you lose 5 money. We will try to keep these populated areas populated. Let's execute actions. All we're doing is walking. They have shot me. They have shot me. It's interesting that they only move and shoot me when they're like in range. But we have a perfect opportunity for one of these and then one of these, and then that should kill them both because we have a cone fire. And this cone fire is not gonna hit any other buildings. So it looks like that burst damage is, that's not 800, maybe it's 600 burst damage? Hard to tell. So we did destroy one building. I don't know why we lost 30 money from that, because it only said we lost 5 money. Oh, and it also said -1% repair per building destroyed. So how much do you repair in between each missions? Again, that's just that's an anomalous thing I don't really understand, because it doesn't seem to be displayed anywhere. We get a primary weapon, a firemonger, Launch a fireball that deals damage to an area and sets the tiles on fire. 600 damage, total weight of 2, AP cost 40, heat to self 410, heat inflicted 160. Okay. So we'll go to the hangar. Yep, I know. Blaster shotgun could turn into a firemonger. Range of 4, impacts in a little bit of a diamond tile. I think that's fine. I mean, if we have a napalm launcher, then we don't really need the blaster shotgun, so why not take one ranged weapon and one weapon that's close range / also a, AoE flamethrower. I kind of like it. At the start of each turn, the mech loses this percentage of its current heat. Oh, see, there's 45% cooling rate, but that's not displayed during the mission, so I was very confused as to how that was actually operating. Like this, I want this screen to be able to be displayed in the game. I want to be able to say, to look at my stats and understand what's going on. And I want to look at the stats of the enemies too, because I still don't really know what their weapons are doing. For a tactics game, the player should have all the information necessary. The fun of a game like this is trying to figure out what the turn should be, the best possible turn. Because it is playing a lot like an Into the Breach right now. So we have Firemonger, Napalm Launcher, the Bal Core, which we can't change. So that's enough. And then we can go to Omicron or Lambda. And we have no idea what the difference is. It's both the same. So we'll approach here. It's like an FTL style event. The ship has entered an asteroid field. The crew can see the remains of a mining station, although risky, the mechs could try collecting some minerals, sure. As the ship approaches, we hurt ourselves. The mine, an asteroid hits. As the ship approaches the mine, the asteroid mine, not mine field, but the mining station, an asteroid hits the side of the ship. You abandon the search for safety. So we've taken damage, but we heal after each combat anyways. In the next combat, you will play with 3 units. Remember, you can change their equipment in the hangar. You have reminded me that I can change their equipment, and yet I cannot change equipment. Level 99? Select the pilot to swap mechs? I don't understand what I'm looking at here. Okay, and I can't change their loadout at all. So I will go to the next level. Commercial station, approach. Hold on, I gotta look at something real quick. Steam ignited steel. That is not how you spell Steam. This game is not in early access, it is released. I think that the UI could use a little bit of a tweak here. So commercial station, we can buy things. Sell things. And take contracts. But we can't buy the contract. Or do you get money for a contract? Hold on. Proton X gun. Fire a concentrated shot of massive energy dealing damage. These might be like level 2 weapons. The Firemonger is not a level 2. But I don't know why this has 2 pips on it. It might be like an upgraded form of it. It's also, it seems to be free. Yeah, there you go. So the second pip means it's a more rare version of the weapon that does more damage. So we'll buy it, and then I'll buy it, and then I will buy it, and then I will buy it, and then I will buy it. And then I wonder if I can sell it back to him immediately. So exit station, go to the hangar. Oh, now I can, okay, now I cannot change my, oh, no, I can, okay. So Firemonger, let's put the Firemonger Mark II on. Should really just call it Mark II. Select, Flame Launcher, Emergency Drone. It's a heal. It also instantly overheats you, cannot be used while in overheat. Space Warper. Charge in a straight line. Hitting an enemy will damage and root it. Damage increases with each tile traverse. What is rooting? Hate to say it, but you know, again, in games like this, there should be a pop-up display saying, this is what root is, you know. Long-range jump that pushes and damages units, so that's the one we had. Melee attack that deals damage to an enemy, pushing it back. If the unit crashes into another unit, both receive damage. How much damage? Again, I don't know. Okay, what do you have? You have a projectile rifle. We already have an upgraded version of that for some reason. You have a healing drone and a support core. Provides great shielding in the front line and is able to heat up and cool down fast. It is not particularly strong at higher heats, however. Multiplier for the damage dealt and received at maximum heat. It says it's not strong at high heat, except it is, because the heat multiplier is lower, so we take less damage at high heat, but maybe that's a negative, I don't know. Balanced core, support core L6. Less health, but more heat damage? I don't know, I'm just a little bit confused as to how we should be utilizing the heat system. You know what, let's just freaking go into the mission. I'm gonna sell a bad weapon, and now I can buy a contract. Prevent the enemy from destroying any targets on your next defend the objective battle. We get 20% max health increased. And this one we can't see until we have the money for it. Because I can't see what the benefit would be until I can actually look at it. So why don't we, let's just sell a core. 3,000 credits gained. Finish the next map in half as turn as the maximum number of turns. You seem to have like 30 turns, so sure, I'll buy this one to gain gold, and then if I sell a few things, we can afford this one. You see, I have 1,400 money, why can I not, oh, now I have 200 money. What? I don't understand what's happening, but I think it's just a bug. And now the contracts are more expensive, and there's more modules to buy? What is happening? I guess the station doesn't... Okay, well, inventory full. Well, I have an idea how we can solve this problem. All right, so I mean, I think this is just a bug where the game does not keep track of what was in the station when you leave the station. As a result, you can just get literally infinite money. So, you know, I'll just buy this and... Oh, you can only have one contract too. Interesting. This still is a little absurd though. I hate to say it, it's a little absurd that a bug like that would exist. Anyways, let's just do the next level. All right, so we have a spawn area here. I'm just gonna put them down without care in the world, because I'm still learning. And there's still 4 of these tanks that we have to kill, and we have 26 turns. And win it in fewer than half turns. I have a feeling we're gonna be able to accomplish that goal. Because you're dead now. This is a great weapon, because we can attack twice and then still cool down a little bit. So what do you have? Projectile rifle does 720 damage, and an emergency drone for a heal. Can you shoot here? You cannot. So walk forward 1, then attack. He's dead. No. Attack, cool down. And then you, what do you do? I don't understand. How come my actions are getting... Can you only move with 1 mech per turn? Hold on, attack. Attack twice, cool down. Ah, I see. So you have 3 units of actions, and you have to complete one unit's actions. You don't queue them all up at the same time. I get it. So execute actions. then it's still my turn, and then I have another action. Understood. So walk forward, attack, cool down, execute actions. And then what do you do? And I wonder if you had like action points remaining if you could keep moving. You have a missile launcher. So shoot a missile that does damage in an area. Okay. And then you also have Space Warper. Charge in a straight line, hitting an enemy will damage and root it. Damage increases with each tile traversed. Up to a maximum, or was that because there's a building there? Let's see. Up to a maximum. No, don't move that far. Just like stay where you are, because either the enemies are gonna come to me or I'm gonna be able to shoot them next turn, and I have a way of shooting over enemies. Oh, you know what? We put the fire down with our weapons. I get it. When you attack the ground, it puts fire around you. Maybe. Maybe. Anyways, if I move, yeah. This weapon does not have splash. So what is your alternate ability? Emergency drone? That doesn't seem particularly interesting. But I tell you what, we can attack him with you. You might as well do that. He's not quite dead, but he is on fire. Deals damage and increases heat at the start of each turn remaining 3. This unit has 420 HP and 300 heat. And they're taking 1.2 times damage because they're heated. But they don't deal any more damage because they're heated. Deals damage, increases heat. How much though? Like, deals damage, increases heat. Okay. Do I have to shoot this guy or is he dead? You know, give me more information, game. So let's move over. Attack him, he's dead. I like that you're on 2 wheels. It's a hell of a lot of balance you must have. And then you're gonna come over here. And your attack, what is it? The missile launcher. What's the range on this? Range is pretty good, but I'm just gonna have you move over there. The enemy did decide to move this time. And they attacked twice. I can't look at the enemy's attack, but I do know that they can attack twice, I guess. And then we're just going to do that, and then you're dead. Seems pretty straightforward. Victory. Events completed, commercial stations visited 4. Is that good or bad? Contracts completed 0, buildings destroyed 5. Deploy. I guess maybe we can customize our mech now. Yeah, there you go. So Assault Pilot, or Egret Soryu, who gives us less health, less cooling, less heat capacity, but more... This value increases or decreases the heat increase of the mech every time it uses a combat module. Total self-heat per attack is module heat times this multiplier. So you get heat more, and you both take and deal more damage. I don't it's interesting because heat is a double-edged sword, but it's green. So green is usually good. You know, these are negatives because it's less health, less cooling. But the heat multiplier is higher, which means you take and receive more damage. But green only means, like, green indicates it's good, but it's not good. It could be good, it could be bad. It's very dependent. And then we have another pilot. We can, I guess, change what it looks like. Change the pack of the mech. And we can change our pilots around too. So she's on that one. She has the shock pack. which is a missile launcher and the space warper. I mean, I kind of want her to keep the weapons I had with her. We can have new packs by reaching bosses. What? No. Sure, save. And then I have no other pilots. So these are the general pilots. Okay, let's deploy. And that was the tutorial, understood. I don't know why we still only had like 5 commercial stations we were able to visit. Defend the generators, reach the extraction point. 2, 3, 4. WASD is so annoying. Sure, let's do like a couple of missions or something. Enemies, bounty, support. Bounty is a weapon and a support piece of equipment. I get it. You don't get to see the equipment, you get to see what the reward could be. Now there's enemy tanks, a heal box, an automated turret, I assume, and then 2 objectives to defend. And then there's an enemy mech as well. Okay, so let's just place our units, because those are the only places we can position ourselves, right in between all of the generators. And then you, oh, it's an allied unit. I guess it is blue. Shoots all enemies within its attack range. Well, I can't control it, so I guess it is just on auto. Now, can I hit an enemy? I can hit one enemy. Oh, and they have freaking 4,000 HP now. Okay, I understand why. Oh, and we only have 6 turns. Okay, so that was just a tutorial with all that tutorial nonsense. Got it. Okay, so we did some damage. You have another firemonger and a napalm launcher. Why don't you move like here? And I don't really want you to destroy the building, but you could just attack right here, which I think will hit the friend there. So you can attack here. You know what? I bet you we can do this in a way where we can cool off as well. Oh, not quite. Well, this is still okay. Actually, what we could do is attack. No, hold on. What if you move there and then flame up? We'd have to move there and then flame up, but we can't do that. Okay, so just move over here, attack here. It'll damage the unit, and then you can just stay put. You're doing damage, you're lighting them up. As for you, we do want to attack like one. We do want to attack like one unit, ideally first. But I don't think we can actually attack that unit because we're just too far away from him. Can I hit this guy? No. Can I hit him here? Yes. So I could hit him, but we'll be in position of these units. I think you, honestly, maybe just like move up and get ready to assist. Let's put you there. We only have 5 more turns, but we need the enemies to approach us because I can't get to them in time. And they did take damage at the beginning of their turn by being in the fire. You just walked up to the objective and attacked him. Okay, what are you doing? I guess this enemy is preparing to attack? I don't know. That's what I assume. Hello. You have no heat, but you are on top of a heat tile. I'm gonna assume there's a reason for that. Projectile rifle. Smack, smack. Smack. You're dead. Beautiful. No. Attack. Then move. You might as well move up like... What's your other ability? Emergency drone. Yeah, who cares? Might as well move up like 1 square. Our heat's high, but, you know, a unit's dead. That'll really raise your heat moving. Well, not by that much, though. But let's move you... here. And then... oh, can I move one more and then still attack? I can. So that'll hit both of these units and heat them up a little bit. Our heat will be at max. And then... overheat, damage to yourself. Whenever you attack on overheat, you take much less overheat damage when you attack at lower health. You take less overheat damage when you attack at lower health. Extra damage dealt and received due to the current heat times 2.55. So if we attack from here, we will be overheated and we might take a lot of damage, but it also deals damage. Warning, overheat. Overheated priority target. So they're gonna specifically try to attack me because I'm overheated. Gotcha. Repairs the mech at the start of the turn and then disappears turn remaining 10. No one's taken damage yet. I will say, I do like the idea of just burning these enemies. Our allied unit is under attack, but also who cares? And we also have the firemonger, which we can use to kill 2 enemies. How does that work? We do 1.6 times damage because of our heat. And this weapon does 975, so it's gonna do, I don't know, 1,400 damage. It says it's gonna do 1,000. Ah, this already includes the heat damage multiplier in effect, understood. So that does 1,000 damage. Then, if we attack again, we'll do 425 damage, but do 2.5 times damage, which is enough to kill these units. Why though? You have 2177 HP, but I'm doing 1,500 damage. So how's that killing you? This guy makes sense. He has 1,300 HP, that'll kill him. But why are you dying? Oh, it's because you're on a tile that'll do damage to you. But again, I don't know how much damage, so it's just a little ambiguous. I don't understand why you're dying, just that you're dying, and then we'll cool off. So it's gonna hurt us, but because we're overheated, we deal a whole bunch of damage. Challenge completed, double kill. Unlock for future runs, double cannon. So we hurt ourselves by 400, and then we reduced our heat by half, so we went from 1,600 to 800. I don't know why there's mines. I guess those are, oh, I understand. This is a defend mission. We don't have to kill all the enemies, we just have to live. These means that more enemies are gonna spawn. The next turn, an enemy will spawn here. Can we destroy that? Yes. If you attack it once, it gets destroyed. Okay, understood. I'm starting to get it. So if we move here. No. You have an arc, right? Perfect. It hits literally everything just by standing still. And in fact, if we attack twice, we'll take no damage, but we will be severely overheated. It does get 1 kill, almost 2 though. That is pretty good. Do we have a different move? Like, you do have a firemonger, but that's gonna hurt you a lot. You just gotta like cool down your heat on this turn. And then you have the drone and the projectile. What else do you have? You have another napalm launcher, but I really like the position of this unit using the napalm launcher. 1, 2. Gets all the kills. We can't cool down. We can move. I don't think moving causes us to take self-damage. We just move. So why don't we try that? Let's stay there. I know, we're overheated. And then you... I think we can kill everything but that one unit up there, because you can just walk over here, move one more tile, get a kill. You're gonna be slightly heated, but nothing is gonna spawn on this turn, ideally. And then you are going to cool down, take a step, take an attack. You can't cool down again, and you're gonna be overheated again, but you're not gonna take any self damage. Yeah, you're over, I know you're overheated. Everyone's freaking overheated, okay? Why did they spawn? I don't remember there being a spawn indicator here. I'm also noticing that when they're overheated, they don't seem to unheat per turn. They seem to still just maintain their entire heat every turn. But you did get a little bit of heat cooldown because you weren't overheated. Is that how that works? Set surrounding tiles on fire, current damage multiplier 1.3. Okay. Well, that's a kill, and then you lower your heat, so that seems pretty good. You could do a lot of damage, but you'll be on fire. No, I think you just want to attack, cool down, end turn. Just wipe out that guy. Your turn's over. Then you do need to unheat yourself. Launch an attack, unheat yourself. It's not gonna get a kill, but it will stop an enemy from spawning, and then you're only gonna have half heat. So I understand, you kinda wanna build your own heat, then attack, then cool down so that you don't take damage at the end of your turn. But let's see if we can maybe kill this guy. So 2 hits will do it, and then we'll take a lot of damage. So we kinda need to cool down. We could do one attack. No. Then cool down again. We'll be at half heat, but we do get one attack in, and then we can attack on the next turn, I guess. Although, is there a better target for us? Could hit this guy. We're not gonna be killing him anytime soon, though. But I think we gotta attack something. So let's attack you, then cool down. You'll chill. I guess we're heating because of the environment condition. That's why we're only able to get in like one attack per turn. So you cool down. Move. No, sorry. I keep right-clicking so I can get out of attack mode and go back to move mode, but it just cancels my action. It just unverts. It removes one action that I had queued up. So if we do this, we don't have enough AP to cool down. So we probably just want to not move. Cool down. Attack here, stop a spawn, cool down again. We're not moving a lot, but there's just a lot of heat everywhere, so we can't really move at all. So you overheated, but you cool down immediately. Understood. There's a lot of units spawning every turn. I did not anticipate the turret firing at all. I forgot that it did fire. You shot me and then you cooled down. You shot me and then you didn't cool down because you were... You didn't cool down, but you have no heat? How does that work? Anyways, hello, friend. Well, that'll, will it destroy any towns? It does not seem like it will. I guess if I move, I'll probably get missed by this guy's attack, so we don't really have to attack him. I will say, I freaking love the idea of just like moving, even just like back one, back two. This will hit my own building. I mean, if we just move, heck, we don't even have to, we should move. Move one, attack here. Now that'll hit our own building. We do have to move like 2 spaces. So move 2 spaces, attack twice. It'll get a kill. This guy will be almost dead. We can certainly kill him with 1 move. So let's just do this. We don't take any damage. We'll be a little overheated. We could just move back 1 so that maybe we don't get hit by these enemies. I mean, I like this turn. Smack him. Smack him. We're overheated, but we'll deal with that next turn. Just 2 units spawning, but they're gonna be far away. So I think we get a kill. Let's put fire on you. This is gonna cause self-damage. We kind of need to cool down and then attack, but then we'll be overheated ourselves. This guy has a lot of HP. What about moving? No. Move. Raise his heat. Deals damage to surrounding tile. I don't want to be standing next to him if I do that then. I guess we'll just attack, cool down. We don't want to attack again. God, this environment is just freaking disastrous, man. Instead, I'll just move a little bit further back, get us away from these enemies up here, and then we'll execute. I mean, he'll take damage at the start of his turn. I don't know how much, but he'll take damage. We can just move here, just get out of the way. And then shoot, shoot. Shoot. I'd rather get a kill, so let's do that. Can we move here and then do it? No. But that projectile gun seems quite effective here. You'll die. You'll live, but you're on a fire tile. I'm kind of hopeful that that will actually get a kill. If it doesn't, though, that'd be a little annoying. Oh, you know what we could do? Move here, kill you, attack you. You seem to have a bit of a wind up on your attacks, so I can probably get the kill on you next turn. And also walking over that healed us, which I did not anticipate. I thought you had to end your turn on the tile. Yeah, so if we just move, then you don't do anything, and you did cool down. I guess the flying vehicles don't take heat by moving. And I think we did lose heat passively, but not when you're overheated. I don't know what this yellow mark is. What is the yellow mark? I don't know. Is that like the heat that you'll recover passively? Why is this one at the bottom and this one middle and this one middle when I'm over? I don't get it. So you're not doing anything on this turn. The enemy vehicles seem like way more dangerous than the mechs, because the vehicles attack without warning, but the mech has like a warm-up time and then a cooldown time after attacking. Like, he's so easy to take out. All right, so let's just get a kill here. That's gonna hurt us, I'm realizing. Ugh, ouch. But then we cool down. You know what? You have no heat. Move there. Why don't you attack twice in cooldown? Maybe I should start worrying about the overall heat level a little bit more. Not ending my turn overheated. So cool down. Attack, cooldown. I can't help but feel like I'm spending a lot of time just cooling down before and after every attack, because there's just no opportunity to really get any more damage done. You did attack the building twice. You shot me once. Battle's been completed. One building was destroyed. We got some kills. There was no contract. And we can select our reward. A blaster shotgun level 2 or a steel attractor level 2. Line attack that attracts the target to the mech and deals damage to it. It only deals 200 damage. I like the thing that does more damage, please. Give me an upgraded blaster shotgun. And then we can go to... If this is an indication of the type of world, then maybe this is gonna have less... Oh, it's a radioactive world. I don't know what that means. We can go to the hangar. So Firemonger, we could upgrade to like a blaster shotgun. What is your second skill? A napalm launcher? The Firemonger, it's got AoE on it, but like the projectile launcher can just kill faster because we can attack way more with it. It takes less AP, deals the same amount of damage, does less heat to us. I feel like that's a little bit more better, at least early. And then, do we have a blaster shotgun? Is that a secondary? That is not a secondary. Where was the blaster? Oh, there's the blaster shotgun. So we could swap out like, focuses on mobility at the expense of plating, support core, great shielding in the front line, heat up and cool down fast. Why don't you take the blaster shotgun? Why don't you play, there it is. Why don't you take the blaster shotgun? If you have better defense in the front lines, maybe you can take more advantage of it. Okay. Cooling rate. At the start of each turn, the mech loses this percentage of its current heat. Except when you're overheated, you don't seem to get any passive cooling. We also did not heal. Like, we healed like none at the end of the fight, which is surprising. I thought we would actually heal more after that combat, but instead we healed essentially none. All right, I've given myself a minute to straighten out my thoughts on Ignited Steel. Here it is. The game definitely wears what seems to be an Into the Breach inspiration on its sleeve, which is fine. Into the Breach is a great game, and I kind of agree with an assessment that maybe Into the Breach was a little bit light on the mechanics. The mechanics that did exist in the game were nailed down perfectly, but I can see that Ignited Steel is trying to add a little bit of depth to the mechanics themselves. You know, instead of your mech having 2 HP, they've got 4,000. You know, mech health is persistent between worlds, so it's a resource that you have to watch out for and maintain. The addition of heat means that maybe there are some turns in which you only want to attack once, or maybe even not at all, and other turns when you can build up for attacking 2 or 3 times in a row. It's a little bit more, there's a little bit more variation that the player can choose to have for every turn. And that's certainly quite interesting. You know, the maps are of a different size. It looks like there's a lot more opportunities for various equipment as well. You know, after every mission, you're getting something new. But there are a few points of criticism for Ignited Steel that I would like to bring up. First of all, camera and UX. And just to use an example, this screen right here is a perfect example of a, I think, issue that the game has with its UX a little bit. On this screen, I can use WASD to scroll the star map, but I can't do that with the mouse, strangely enough. If I put the mouse on the edge of the screen, it does not scroll. Clicking and drag does not scroll at all. But why? You know, this feels like a game that you can play entirely with the mouse, except you can't use the camera at all. There's no click and drag. Click and drag has been a staple of moving the camera in video games for decades. So why can I not click and drag and move the camera in Ignited Steel? You know, take a little bit of context from the player's actions. You know, if I click on a planet, then, you know, zoom in on the planet. But if I'm just clicking on nothing, that should enable me to interact with the camera, or zoom in or zoom out or whatever. I mean, I could have the scroll wheel, which doesn't do anything on this screen. But if I'm in a mission, let me click and move the camera if I click not on the grid. Or if I click outside of a unit's attack range, let me move the camera. Because I would love to be able to play this game with mouse only, so my other hand can be holding onto my coffee cup. But there's also some other unnecessary, cumbersome moments in the game's UI and UX here. I'll give you another example in the hangar. I don't think there's a need for a select button. I think that because I mouse over a item, I already have a comparison between items. If I click on something, that could be the acknowledgement to slot it into my weapon slot, you know? Making me click on the weapon and then click on select, that's just, it's an extra click that doesn't have a reason to exist, because clicking by itself on these weapons doesn't do anything. It doesn't change the comparison that's happening here. It just kind of locks it in so that I can click on select. But let me just click on the weapon and have that weapon be slotted in. Heck, you could also just make it so that you click and drag the weapon from here to the primary weapon slot. That is how it was done in Into the Breach, and it did add a little feel of it added a certain sense of visceral feedback. That's the word I'm looking for here. When you click and drag the weapon into the slot, I'm equipping this weapon. I know what I'm doing. I recently played a little bit of Loop Hero. During the tutorial for that game, it says, when you pick up your first piece of equipment, it says, you have an item and an inventory, you know what to do. And you click the item and you drag it to your inventory and you wear it. That could be what you do here, click and drag, or you select the weapon and then selected. But having to click the weapon to do nothing except allowing you to click select just feels a little bit tedious. You know, simplify this process a little bit. The same thing happens when you're actually in the game. When you have one, it's located about right here above your heat bar and your action point bar. 1 is movement, 2 is attack, and 3 is cooldown. But in order to use one of your weapons, you have to come down here, click on 2, go to your weapons in the bottom left, click on your weapon, then you've enabled your attack button for the weapon, then you can click on the screen. Why not just make it so that your weapons are displayed, they're always displayed, and when you click on it, you go into that weapon's aim mode, you know? You can get rid of a button click for the 2 here, so that you can just click on the weapon and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in the weapon attack mode. You know, save the player clicks and contextualize what they would want to do with where they're clicking. If I'm clicking on a weapon, boom, I want to make that weapon active. So there's no reason to have me click on 2 first. Just display the weapons and then I click on the weapon. It also makes me feel like the right click is to cancel the last input feels a little bit jank as well. It's a lot harder to describe why though, because it's very consistent. If you right click, it cancels your last action, but also right click as like an escape as going back. I would kind of prefer it if it would just unselected the weapon mode first, drop me back down into movement mode, then it started canceling actions. Because if I right click, at least personally, I don't know where I picked this up from, what game I picked this up from, but if I right click, I kind of just want to go back to I want to cancel the movement mode first, then cancel my individual inputs. But that's just me, and now that I think about it, that sounds weird. But at least in theory, when I was playing, I kept right-clicking. It would cancel an action, but I would still be locked into the attack mode, and then I have to say, okay, no, attack, then go into the movement mode by clicking on 1. I just feel like there's a lot more capability for contextualizing what the player might want to do with their inputs, you know? I think that the overall user experience could be simplified and streamlined a little bit. The other thing I would like to bring up is just the overall information in the game, or should I say lack of it, or at least lack of information being displayed to the player. There is so much information happening. I mean, when you click on, hangar, even something like cooling rate, I don't know where you can actually find this in the mission. Wait, I don't know where you can find weight in the mission. Like some of this data, I guess it's just not displayed at all. I want to be able to see what's going on. I want to be able to have a glossary that I can read that says, okay, this is what heat does, this is how you heal, this is what root does. Heck, if I have a weapon that has root and I select it or mouse over it, I want a pop-up being displayed saying, this is what the root ability does. You know, a la something like Into the Breach or Slay the Spire. You know, if there's a relevant keyword, the game should tell you what that keyword does or explain it. If I am on a mission and there's an enemy tank, I want to be able to look at that tank. I want to be able to see what their available actions are. I want to see a number for movement, a number for range. I want to see how many action points they have, how much their movement, how many action points each point of movement is, how much action points their attacks are. You know, there's just so much information that I don't have. Even something like the fire tiles on the ground that says that enemies take damage and heat at the beginning of their turn. How much? You know, display that knowledge, because there were some instances that an enemy was dying and I didn't really know how they were dying, but I knew it was because of the fire damage. Actually, I think it was because of their overheat damage, because overheat, at least on the tanks, was like they take a burst of damage. How much? Where can I find this information? I don't want to have to alt-tab, go to my browser, look at the wiki, and then actually be able to see this information. It should be present in-game. This, at its core, this is a tactics game. I need to have the information in the game to know what I should be doing. Even something like healing at the end of battle. How much do I heal? Where is this information located? Because I don't really think I healed at all at the end of the last battle. Do we even heal at the end of battle? I think you do, because if you destroy a building, you are healed less. There's just so much information that is just opaque. I don't understand the mechanics. Speaking of, let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. Why are the mechs telegraphing their attack while the tanks are not telegraphing? It makes the mechs seem just hilariously useless, the enemy mechs, that is. Because if a mech is attacking, I just walk one tile and then all of a sudden its attack has been completely negated. The tanks are the most dangerous thing. You know, they can move and attack without telegraphing, which means I'm just taking chip damage every turn of combat that something lives. That's why it felt like just making sure that something died on that turn was the best course of action, even if I ended my turn overheated, because if something is dead, it's not hurting me. There's a lot of other gameplay questions as well, like the tanks and their action points. Do tanks have action points similarly to the player? Because when I moused over the tanks, they had a red grid and a blue grid kind of overlaid on top of each other. I'm guessing that the red grid is their attack range and the blue grid is their movement. But I don't know if their attacks use action points. I don't know, you know, if it's 3 movement action points for one attack so that I can position myself outside of their range. You know, there's just so much information that's not being displayed to the player that makes it hard for me to really engage with the gameplay. Torching buildings as well doesn't really seem like that big of a penalty. I suppose that's why in something like Into the Breach, movement abilities on all of your mechs was super important. Every mech essentially had a movement ability because you had to balance the overall health of your power grid with enemies hitting buildings, and you could either kill the enemy or push the enemies around so that your buildings were safe, but the buildings do seem a bit like a second thought in Ignited Steel. If I lose 5 credits and 1% healing at the end of a mission, who cares? Then again, I don't even know where you heal or how much you heal. And also, I hate to say it, the music in the game kind of feels like it's lacking a little bit of heart and soul. It kind of just sounds like freeware music that they threw into the game. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the sci-fi aesthetic. And it's very strange how on a screen like this on the main menu that it just plays like 3 tracks. Normally, well, not normally, but oftentimes in games like these, there's a main menu track, a battle track, and whatnot. But It just seems like all the music is just kind of repeating itself without regard to where you are, which is strange. So Ignited Steel, it's an interesting game. It's a fun game. I enjoy the fact that it is kind of tactics-esque. It's got a sci-fi twist on it. The mechanics seem very interesting, like the overheat mechanic, rather the heat mechanic. But there's just so much information that's not being displayed. I'm having a hard time understanding it and getting into it. Even something like the bonus heat, the cooling rate, even something like this isn't explained fully, because if you're overheated, you don't lose heat at the end of your turn. You only lose heat at the end of your turn if you're not overheated. By the way, I never even realized this. Heat affects your mech at all temperatures instead of above 50%. I'm gonna guess that that's the yellow arrow in the heat bar, which is where you start becoming affected by heat, and that's why on one of our units it was all the way at the bottom, because these are just the general pilots, so the heat affects us at 50%. But yeah, there's just so much hidden information from the player that just makes it really hard to get into, because there's a lot of just, well, I don't know what's gonna happen, I don't know what's happening, I don't know what the tank does, I don't know if I can anticipate what it's gonna do, I'm just gonna, hope for the best, make my action and hope for the best. So a lot of like little things with the UI, with the camera controls, with information being displayed to the character that I think could be done a lot better. But I enjoy games like this. What does that even, how does that even mean? I enjoy Into the Breach so much that a game that's Into the Breach like immediately gets my attention, but I think there's just so much better, this game could be doing so much better with the actual mechanics and with the actual information being displayed to everything to the player. Anyways, this has been Abe Takes a Look at Ignited Steel. If you enjoyed it, click the like button and subscribe for more. I will see you here for the next Let's Look At.